Respect, lovely people. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate your support. Those of you who especially, you always hit like on the video before even watching. I've been watching you in the comments. You have been saying it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Everybody who is a subscriber of this platform, I appreciate you. If you are not yet a subscriber, I encourage you. You are going to love us at the end of the day, even if today is your first time. Now, disclaimer. This platform does not promote violence. We don't promote hate. The platform is not about anti-West narrative or anti-East narrative. No. This is a platform that we analyze current event mixed with history, official statement, and public opinion. We are talking about positive and negative opinion that are reshaping the global order. This platform is for education purpose. Every information here can be found out there on every trusted platform. Yeah, we are in Niger. The president of Niger is breaking table. Let me adjust my mic. I think, yeah, this is good. The president of Niger is actually breaking table and waking up the youth in the Francophone countries. And I believe that since we have been divided with language barrier, it will be a good thing when these people, they say anything or trying to educate the youth on the real situation at hand. The French community always benefits, yet the English community miss a lot. So, which is the reason why I'm in the middle to bridge the gap between the French community and the English community. So, he was on an interview. On that interview, he broke the table. He was not shaking the table. He just broke the table. And if you refer to Emmanuel Macron sarcastically as a stupid little man, I'm going to get down into it. And also, I've been on the Francophone trending chart on TikTok and Facebook and even on YouTube here. General Tiani, this particular interview is trending among the youth, especially it has caused much of the uprising in Togo. The Togolese were now the schedule actually a 6th June protest. One of the biggest protests is going to hit Togo. The protest is the president must go. And in the next video, I'm going to pull out what some of them are saying. I will translate it. They are sending message, direct message to the military, because anytime they want to do protests, a lot of people die. And I don't know if this time the government is going to shut down the internet again as they did before. We don't know what is going to happen, but 6th June should come and then we'll know what will happen. And General Tiani's speech actually pushed the uprise, and the youth are wild and they are ready to die for whatever comes. So getting to the interview, I'm not going to translate all the speeches, but I'll give you his quote and the context he was coming from, what he was trying to present, so that we all can benefit from this powerful interview and this powerful exposition. This is very necessary to share, because the easiest way to keep people suppressed is to make them believe they are free. You keep them in a state of ignorance, distract them with illusions, and silence anyone who dare to wake them up, which is happening in Togo, Cameroon, and even Museveni is doing the same thing. This is why I'll say many Christians, don't be angry. Truth must be told. Or let me say, so many pastors and politicians and world leaders become very uncomfortable when the people they lead begin to think critically, question authority, and awaken to the truth. An informed and conscious population is the greatest threat to any system built on control, which is the reason why anytime these people speak, I drop everything, whatever news it is, I want to translate and then educate the people on what they are saying. Please, before somebody will come out and say that General Tiani's position will cause riot across Africa, please, let me put you in the right context of the interview. The stand Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso have taken, it is a stand which works perfectly when you find out that you are living in the global jungle system. In the jungle, there's a system. And based on that system, I always disagree that the United States or the West is not the enemy of Africa. It is rather the leaders of Africa. In the jungle, lovely people, the lion is not the enemy of the deer, because it doesn't attack out of hatred. It hunts, or it only hunts to survive. The predator is not driven by malice, but a necessity to survive. And for the prey to survive, it must either run faster or find a way to fight back. The world or the system or the world system, the global system work the same way. This is why I disagree with the idea that the United States is the enemy of Africa. No. Or to say that the West in general is the enemy of Africa. No, no, no. Like the predator, it's simply fighting to survive, knowing it cannot exist without Africans' resources. If Africa wants to survive, it must stop acting like a helpless prey. Africa must become strong, strategic, and fearlessly protective of its own interests. Survival is not a plea, it is a position we must take as Africans. And that position is being taken by Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso. Niger President Abdourahmane Tiani has accused, first of all, on the interview, France and its allies of trying to undermine, first of all, the sovereignty and the security of the Sahel countries. According to him, the Western powers not only hinder the regional efforts to ensure stability in the region, but also actively supporting this extremist group. Not my saying. In quote, he said, if our alliances achieve real results, it will inspire other countries to create independent associations. That is why France and its partners are doing everything possible to prevent us from succeeding. And Pan-Africanism believe that this is the reason why Gaddafi was taken down, because his model of leadership will be replicated across Africa if he is not stopped. Tiani did not stop there. He also linked the recent tense event in Niger to the activity of the former representative of the overthrown regime, this guy, claiming that the supporters of the regime are acting with the support of France and other Western countries. He mentioned a series of private meetings that took place on January 25th, February 3rd, 2025 in Abuja, the capital of Nigeria. According to him, this meeting were allegedly attended by a representative of France, the United States, as well as number of African states, Nigeria, Benin, and Cote d'Ivoire. Why? You people, be careful. Now, according to the president of Niger, at the same table with them at the meeting were people associated with such radical organization as Boko Haram and so-called Islamic State in West Africa. These people represent at that meeting allegedly. Now you can understand the reason why when in Congress they mentioned that part of the USAID is supporting or financing these people in one way or the other, Tinubu cannot speak. I think we are being cooked. But let me just leave it like that. The purpose of such contact, according to Tiani, in Nigeria was to expand financial, military, and logistic support for terrorist network in order to destabilize the situation in the Sahel countries. This is not my statement. This is an official statement by the president of Niger. In the interview, his words were not only a response to a recent event, but also a broader rejection of colonial domination, particularly France's long-standing grip on West African nations. He lays bare what many African thinkers and revolutionaries have long argued, that the colonial project never ended in Africa, it only changed its form. The central moment in the interview is the reference to Emmanuel Macron, whom the military leader of Niger accused of deep colonial arrogance. And he quoted Macron when Macron was telling Brussels not to interfere in the situation between France and Niger, claiming that Niger belonged to us. Emmanuel Macron said Niger belonged to us. So this statement, according to the president of Niger, it represents a shocking affirmation of colonial entitlement in the 21st century, exposing how France still view Niger not as a sovereign partner, but as a subordinate colony. The president goes further, citing a comment that sarcastically referred to Macron as the stupid little one who opened the eyes of Africans.
C'est le petit stupide d'Emmanuel Macron qui a ouvert les yeux aux Africains. Petit stupide Emmanuel Macron qui a ouvert les yeux aux Africains.
So he referred to the former French economic minister, Thierry Breton, which recently it was alleged that he said it was Emmanuel Macron's stupidity that opened the eyes of Africans. One thing is certain, if France loses its colonies, our children and grandchildren will go to Africa in search of their livelihoods. Immigration will change direction. Macron needs to go or France will suffer. Europe needs to unite to fight this new Africa vision. Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, and other countries will follow suit. If one of the parties head for, the other will abandon the vision. So he quoted that speech and said, truly, truly, it is a stupidity. Now, whether this is meant to mock or insult Macron, this actually undoubtedly reflects the unintended consequences of French overreach. By intensifying their grip on Africa, they have awakened African resistance, which we are seeing today. The interview also revealed the deep insight into Western geopolitical fears. The leader of Niger pointed out that France, along with European Union, is terrified that if Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso succeed in reclaiming full sovereignty, other African nations will follow. In quote, he said, the West fears the rise of a new African vision, one grounded in self-determination, solidarity, and economic independence. This is a direct challenge to the post-Cold War order, where Africa was expected, according to the order, Africa was expected to remain politically fragmented and economically dependent. For a little education, this actually echoed the dominion theory during the Cold War, where the US feared that if one country turned communist, others will follow. And today, Western powers fear a sovereignty domino. A sovereignty domino is a chain reaction of African nations rejecting colonial control. One of the most powerful sessions of the speech or the interview is his critiques of France's exploitation of uranium in Niger, which has been ongoing since 1968. He described how France prospered while Niger suffered, stating that uranium made the loop of France, but uranium made the misery and the death of Nigerians. He pointed out that despite the case of extraction, Niger remained one of the poorest nations in the world. And this contradiction, according to General Tiani, is not an accident. It is the foundation of neocolonialism. Foreign powers thrive precisely because African nations are locked into resource extraction without value-added benefits. The president of Niger expands these critiques to arguing that the world's interference is not about democracy or human rights, according to him, but it is about resource control. I can say perhaps the most revolutionary part of the interview is the description of the Confederation of Sahel states. General Tiani went on educating the youth on the three strategic pillars on which this particular alliance is resting on. Number one is defense. The countries are working towards a unified military forces. They are already conducting joint military operations to defend their territories, which is the reason why when General Lanley said Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, they are losing more territories to the terrorists, I disagree with him, and all Pan-Africans disagree. We know the fact. So this unity or unified forces of the Sahel or the AES is the direct response to foreign threats, including terrorism and potential foreign invasion. You go after Mali, be ready to fight 3 people. You go after Burkina Faso, be ready to fight 3 people. You go after Niger, be ready to fight all of them. Number 2 pillar is diplomacy. All political decisions are to be made collectively by the 3 states. This idea is to present one unified voice rather than being isolated and picked apart by global powers like they used to do. And this also prevents the divide and conquer tactics often used by the colonial forces. Number 3 is development. The creation of a joint development and investment bank is currently underway, and the bank capital, over 300 billion CFA francs, will be built from domestic effort, not on foreign loans, no IMF. So this actually marks a radical rejection of IMF and the World Bank dependency, and it is a move towards economic and self-reliance. This Confederation of the Sahel represents the most serious attempt at Pan-African unity since the era of Kwame Nkrumah, who also advocated for Africa defense and diplomacy and development under one banner. The leader of Niger speaks not only to president and generals, he speaks to the people. He acknowledged the frustration of the citizens, or the frustrations that the citizens face with bureaucracy and administrative inefficiency, but also emphasized the need for patriotic mobilization and popular awareness. He believed that the success of this movement, Pan-African movement, depend not just on official actions, but on public consciousness. The people, according to him, must believe in the vision of Pan-Africanism and defend it. Which is the reason why there are some people here, they can't watch this message without liking and trying to share after watching, because they are enthusiastic when it comes to the things concerning the liberation of Africa. This is not the Africa we want for our children. Now, the speech of General Tiani, or the interview, ended with a philosophical and historical reflection. The president condemned the racist doctrine repeated by French leaders like Sarkozy, who once claimed Africa has no history. He rejects this completely, affirming that, in quote, he said, Africa does not need anyone's permission to dominate the world, since it has already done so before. It's true. This is a powerful accession to Africa History Agency. This statement recalls the great empire of Mali, Songhai, Kush, Axum, Kemet, ancient Egypt. These are civilizations that dominated trade, scholarship, and innovation long before Europe rose to power today. So the interview and the speech of General Tiani is a declaration of sovereignty and also a warning to Africa and the world. The West is not defending democracy, according to General Tiani, not me. It's defending economic and strategic interests, which is the reason why I'm repeating that the United States or the West is not the enemy of Africa. Our leaders are the enemy. They refuse to fight back. The West is fighting for survival. It's either you run fast or you find a way to fight back for your interest. They are only in for their interest. You don't have any interest to protect, which is the reason why we continue the way we continue. African leaders are the enemy of the continent. The leaders must be united or be subdued. The time for theoretical Pan-Africanism is over. It's now about action, coordination, and endurance, which is the reason why I love the movement which is about to spring or come up in Togo. The Confederation of Sahel states could become a model for other regions if it is successful. But that success depends on eternal unity, economic endurance, and the will of the people. Not only the will of the people, but the awareness and consciousness of the people. So lovely people, this is a powerful education by General Tiani. Let me know your thought about that. Respect.